Facebook quarterly results. This video is continuation of our series about the FANG stocks, and I wanted to evaluate the results and see what is going on, because if you look at the stock price, it did drop by almost 7% at this point when I'm looking at it. So to get the primary source of data, as we talked about, it's important. We're again going to investor relations, and I did want to give kudos to Facebook for laying it out really nicely. There is even a transcript of the whole investor call. And you can see the brands here that Facebook has. You know, they have the Facebook, the WhatsApp, the Messenger, Instagram, and Oculus. But what's interesting is when we go to their actual results and you look at the revenue, pretty much all of their revenue comes from one source, which is advertising. And that was actually the questionable mark, because there was a boycott going on with Facebook during this reporting period. And we also saw that Snapchat revenue dropped while Microsoft reported their ad revenue was growing. So it was interesting to see how Facebook is going to report it. And they did increase it by 22% year over year, sort of beating investor estimates. They did not expect it to grow that much. So Facebook actually has a very nice forward-looking statements. I'm going to touch on them in a second. I looked at all of the three statements that they reported. They look really good. Their balance sheet is looking good. Their revenue is looking good. The cash flows from operations are looking good as well. They did increase that from year over year. So in the last quarter, they brought almost $10 billion in operational cash flows. So this is all really, really good. However, the stock price did go down. So what is going on here is, and they have like really nice slides too to understand their data. I really appreciate it. I feel like Tesla is a similar sort of reporting company with really nice layouts. So the first stats you see is daily average users, and you can see that US and Canada is sort of dropping down. And that was a part of the forward-looking statements. If you actually went to this sort of more boring looking document, it will tell you they expect this trend to continue. And the problem for Facebook is that not every user is created equal, because yes, they grew total. You can see the total of average daily user is growing. However, ARPU, which stands for average revenue per user, is not equal between different geographies, because when people want to advertise to US and Canadian people, they're ready to pay premium for it because they're going to earn more. So when you look at the RPU per location, you will see that US and Canada, on average, that revolves around like $39 average revenue per user. So imagine if Facebook said, we don't want any ads, you can just pay, you won't have ads. If you're in US and Canada, you have to pay $40 for them to make up that lost revenue. However, when you look at Europe, it's hovering around like $12. The rest of the world is like $2. And you know, it's all below $10. So you can see that one user in US and Canada actually is worth 4 European users and I don't know, like 15 of the worldwide users. And that is a problem for Facebook, and that is exactly why the stock is dropping. And I think it is a significant problem. I think because they don't really have diversified revenue yet, all of their revenue comes from advertising. They're kind of in a risky position. And another part of the forward-looking statement that their CEO made is that because of the pandemic, a lot of people were switching to digital advertising, e-commerce, so they needed ads to promote their digital stores. So perhaps like growth in the revenue would reverse in 2021. So those are like two negative pieces of news that really are bringing Facebook down. I personally do not invest in Facebook because I feel that their valuation is way too high. I don't like non-diversified source of revenue, and ideally in their annual report I would like to see a strategy of how are they going to make up the loss in US and Canadian users, how they're going to make up the loss in the revenue in the future. And that can sway my mind about what to do with Facebook. But if you're investing in this company, this is a kind of a slide you should be paying attention. Again, thank you for watching, and if you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing.